So I think about this mission you have around communication. You think about the church whose primary mission is communication. Why are we so bad at it?
That's a good question. Um, so you're right. Communication is intimately tied up to communion, to community. It doesn't. You can't have communion and community without communication. And I think that's at the heart of the crisis in the church today is a breakdown in communication. Like I mentioned already, I think that there's so many people leaving the church. It's many times, maybe most of the time, it just has not been communicated to them what they're leaving, and that's on us. I think that we need to figure out why that's not happening. Um, I think some of the things at the core is we've forgotten what's at stake, and there's something big at stake, but it doesn't always feel that way. When you walk into a church, and the kinds of things we send out don't always feel like there's a lot at stake. And um, and so I think people's commitment level, I think there's something human in us. We want to be challenged. We're willing, people engage with all kinds of things. We see it everywhere, when there's something big at stake. I mean, politics is like your perfect example of it. You see how engaged people get when believe something important is at stake. They will spend hours a day watching videos, forwarding things to their friends, showing up and protesting, getting out to the ballot boxes, giving their money, all those things when they think something important is at stake. And we have something huge at stake, way more at stake than what's at politics. But we haven't managed to convey that, and I think that's at the heart of it, is that we have to get back to reminding people that something big is at stake. And I think we've gotten scared of it because we think it's going to push people away. And along with that, you stop sort of talking about the demands of the faith and what it costs, because you can't communicate the cost if there's nothing big at stake. It's not worth it, So I'm not going to give up or sacrifice a lot if there's nothing really that big at stake. And so it really starts with understanding that there's something really meaningful in our work in the church. It's the most important thing in the world. And I think the other lesson that the church really needs to learn is that it is our actions that communicate way more than what we say. And when you look at someone who's a Christian, what we communicate through our actions is way more powerful than what we're going to say to somebody, the right answer to a question, any of those kind of things. And I think that what's missing so often is the willingness to completely reorder our life around this important thing. Because when you see people who do that, that inspires people. When you see someone who's willing to reorder their whole life around it, not just an hour on Sunday, not just some classes here or there, not just a prayer here or there out of tradition or habit, but that your whole life is reordered around that thing, that communicates something that gets people's attention. That communicates there's something big at stake. That communicates there's something worth sacrificing for. That gets my attention to say, you're strange. Tell me why you're acting so strangely, And I think we're missing that a lot, not that we don't have inspiring individuals in the church. I feel like somehow we've lost that posture as an institution. And I think partially because we've gotten scared, we've gotten insecure. We feel like we don't want to share stuff as confidently because we don't want to scare people off. We don't want to talk about the demands because we feel like it's going to scare people off. And what we've ended up doing is just making it, well, I guess there's nothing that big at stake right there.